And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Revelation chapter 18, verse 2. Shabbat Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash. Double honors to our venerable apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone on down. And peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. All right, so Brother Haran coming back at you with another lesson. Lord willing to be edifying and uplifting unto the elect. And today is March the 3rd, 2026. And I want to go into a quick lesson here titled The Spirit of 1776 to 2026. Okay, and we're going to go through specifically the main point is going to be on the Economist magazine for 2026. Okay, and I pulled up some information on decoding, all right, that whole entire, picture, so to speak, right? But before we do so, as I was speaking about yesterday in the lesson, going into what you're seeing in Iran is going to be the catalyst for the global chaos that has been prophesied in the scriptures, but also you got the left-handed prophets, all right, people like Albert Pike, okay, who have also prophesied or / predicted these events playing out, okay? And of course you have 1776 because most Americans believe that America actually gained independence, all right, on May 1st, 1776. But there was an actual plan, all right, that was fermented in 1776. And that plan is 250 years coming May 1st, 2026. It just happened to be that America is also going to be celebrating her 250th year under the 1776 to 2026. Okay, so there's a lot of things like numerology and things that's adding up, but we also know on the right-hand side that these are all things that the Lord talked about as signs of the end. Okay, everything we're about to read now is all part of the signs of the end. A lot of people still can't put two and two together, but ultimately this is only for the elect. Okay, and of course you have a lot of people tuning in now because prophecy is speaking, so therefore the people are seeking. But if you're not of the elect, you can seek all you want, as is written in Amos 8th chapter, the 11th verse on down. You're going to wander from sea to sea, all right, when the famine comes. Okay, when the famine of the word officially hits, when everybody's seeking, right, as it says in Proverbs, the 1st chapter, they shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. Okay, people are going to be seeking the prophets to break down the prophecies that's going to be happening in their time, just like we're seeing now. Okay, so let's read this. It says, very few historians seem to realize that early in the 1700s, long before Weishaupt was retained by the newly formed House of Rothschild to revise and modernize the age-old conspiracy to bring about a one-world government, which is also known as totalitarianism. Okay, the so-called internationalists had infiltrated into America. So going 250 years ago, they had already penetrated your cabinets, in the words of Adam Weishaupt, aka Klaus Schwab. Okay, it says, the works of those historians who do mention this fact have been suppressed. There is documentary evidence which proves these subversives were active as early as 1746. They celebrated May 1st, 1776 as the day on which Weishaupt finished the revision of the age-old conspiracy and gave the name Illuminati to those selected to direct the conspiracy and put his revised plans into effect. Okay, and of course, it's not just individuals, because it's through these individuals you ended up having these agencies and bureaucracies and so on and so forth that enables the plan to move forward. Okay, so it says here, millions upon millions of people have celebrated May Day ever since, thinking in the anniversary of the day, it's the anniversary of the day America and labor gained independence. Just like this alone is just an example of so many different things that's rooted in American culture and custom that's all based on lies. Okay, America's roots are built on fraudulent lies and deception. Okay? It says the masses, which are referred to as Goyim by the Jays, never dreamed May 1st, 1776 was an epic making day in the history of the Luciferian conspiracy, which we refer to as the World Revolutionary Movement, otherwise known as the New World Order. Okay, now you had they want to do 3 revolutions, which is going to be all part of the 3 world wars. Okay, the first revolution was the Russian Revolution. All right, you had the Chinese Revolution, and now you're going to have the Iranian/Muslim Revolution. Okay, it's all about destroying any form of power that will come in a conflict with their so-called New World Order agenda. Okay, you had the czars of Russia that they didn't allow central bankers to come into their country to set up these banks and then start with the whole monopolization of money and therefore control. All right, as is what's his name? Mayor Amschel Bauer says, he said, what? Give me control of a nation's money and I care not who makes the laws. That philosophy stands till today. Okay, they'll go to war over the fact that you don't want to allow them to have a central bank in your country. They will go to war. They'll foment a war against you. They've done it multiple times. Okay. And Iran right now, even though Iran, when you look at the map, Iran is not going to be part of the Greater Israel Project, but it's going to be bordering. Okay. I believe Iran borders Iraq, if I'm not mistaken. So it's right there, and they want to take at least a piece of Iraq, or at least half of it. When you actually look at the map of it, of the so-called Greater Israel Project, I may be wrong on the bordering of Iran and Iraq, but when you actually look at the map, okay, they want to get to the border, literally the border of Iran. Okay, but if that was the case, then you could leave Iran alone. But they don't want to do that because Iran doesn't believe in the whole central banking system. All right, they don't believe in usury, okay, which is all known as interest, right? So, their whole system and the way they do things is completely different from how the Jays want to do things. Okay, and if you want to be pushing a Satanist and Luciferian ideology, you're going to have to do away with religions. Christianity and Islam will be the first ones you want to get rid of, right? So let's continue. It says, it was the day Illuminati stabbed Britain in the back as part of their program to ultimately destroy the British Empire together with all other remaining governments and religions. There you go. Okay, that's where you get the concept of democracy. Okay, democracy, which is mob rule or demoniacal behavior. Okay, which goes into demons. All right, demonically possessed. You become demoniacal. That's what democracy means. The rule of demons. Okay. So it says here, and those demons, they push it. They try to make it seem like the people are part of it, but really, who are the ones who run a democracy? You have a so-called president, right? And in America's custom, you have, the House, okay, the House of Reps, and so on and so forth. So either or, you still have people who are ruling over you and saying that you have the power. It's just in words, but not in actions. Because if people really had the power, the government wouldn't tell you what to do. It would be the other way around. Okay, your president will not wage war without going through an approval of Congress. It will really be up to the people to decide that shit, not no Congress. So America is in a what they call a democratic republic. Okay, it's a democracy, but it has representatives. Okay, people don't just you need to have reps to speak for you, state from state and so on and so forth. You don't really directly make those changes, right? You vote certain people in, they go in there, and then hopefully they'll do what you voted them in there to do. Okay, but again, America's system is all based on lies and fraud. All right, so continue. It says May Day had been celebrated by the Roman Catholic Church for centuries as the feast day of the Mother of Jesus Christ. Okay, it was for this reason that Weishaupt, a renegade Jesuit, picked to announce to his fellow Satanists and Luciferians his revised plan to destroy Christianity and bring about what Nietzsche afterwards referred to as, quote, the death of God. Okay, the death of God. And you go all the way back till now, you see what's going on in terms of prophecy. You see how even though they push this whole concept of the death of God, Here it is, the men of the Most High, the sons of God have arisen. So now what? Okay, and just so you know, Adam Weishaupt was a J. Okay, he was a J, actual. You know what I'm saying? So it goes to show you that all these things that have been going on for all these years, that people have been thinking it was one thing, is actually another thing. Okay, and now people are waking up to what the other thing really is, which is the truth. All right, that has been suppressed for all these years so that wickedness could prevail, as the scripture says, so the Lord could destroy this place. Okay, so I'm going to jump right into, now that we've gotten a little information on how the concept of May Day, or at least May 1st, came about. You know, people think it's America's birthday, but it's actually the insemination, or the inception, I should say, of the New World Order agenda being kicked into motion by Adam Weishaupt. Okay, he set up protocols, and now we're about to get into now we're in the 250th year of this agenda playing out. And this is how it unfolds in the year 2026. Let's read. The 2026 Economist, The World Ahead cover is a symbolic, multi-layered illustration reflecting global tensions, technological shifts, and geopolitical transformation. Not a literal prediction, but a visual map of elite anxieties and systemic pressures shaping 2026. And one could say that this is more of a roadmap of how those who are in control of how things go plan to, execute their plans, so to speak. Okay? It's a roadmap on how they're going to get to their destination of the so-called New World Order. All right? And it comes through war. It comes through a lot of death, destruction, pain, suffering, blood. Those are all biblical prophecies. Okay? And at the end of it all, what happens? America gets destroyed. So don't be fooled by all the things that's going on. Don't be fooled by, the lies that your government keep telling you that, oh, America is the good guy and we're the heroes and we're here to help and all this extra shit. Listen, man, the Most High has beef with America. Forget about Russia and China and North Korea and all these different Iran. Forget about them. Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai has a beef with America. And before America was even created, the Lord already said he's going to destroy America. So there you go. All right. So let's read. It says, central symbol, America's 250th anniversary. It's a birthday cake marked 250 at the center, represents the United States 250th anniversary in July 2026, marking the 1776 founding. We just read a little bit about the real 1776 founding. Okay. It says here, the cake is surrounded by rockets instead of candles. And you know what? Really, America was set up, right? Starting with the 13 colonies and all that. It was really set up for these devils to actually have some form of ability of freedom to exercise whatever the hell religion that they wanted to exercise, which really goes back to Freemasonry. And then that actually goes back to ancient Babylonian esoteric practices, satanic practices. That's why Isaiah 47 talks about their enchantments that they have been laboring from their youth. Okay, let's see if we can get that real quick. Isaiah 47. Let's see here. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 47, and verse 12. It says, stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. Right? So from America's inception, it was based on fraud. It was based on witchcraft. Look at the map of DC. Look at how the White House is set up. The obelisk, but in the monument, the Washington Monument is set up, right? And when you look at the floor map, okay, you look at it from a bird's eye view, and you look at the floor map, you can see the Luciferian sigil. All right, you can see that. You can see an owl. Okay, and then you can see the satanic pentagram. Okay, all these different things. These are all high points. Okay, and I believe the Washington Monument is 666 feet tall. Okay, so these are all, again, the founding fathers. Okay, they were all Masons. Okay, they were into secret societies, the secret societies that Adam Weishaupt we just read about. Okay, the protocols of the satanic agenda movements. Okay, the Baphomet spirit, the androgynous demon, the concept of male and female, TG movement. Okay, look at the Statue of Liberty. They call it Lady Liberty, but it's actually a nigger. All right. So America had been the number one tranny from day one. The nigga was Amerigo. They changed his name to America. What the fuck kind of shit is that? Okay. Anyway, it says, if so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. Okay. But it's not so. Jeremiah, was it Jeremiah 50? It talks about what? We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Okay. So you're not going to profit. It's over with. Okay. It says, thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. In other words, the Lord is saying you're cornered. You have nowhere else to go. This is the end of it for you. We've been chasing you, and now you run out of breath. You're in a corner. You can't go nowhere. You're surrounded. Okay? On every side. It's over with. You try to go down to the ocean, Leviathan is waiting for you. You try to go up into space. The Lord is coming back with his angels, the thousands of heaven. You right here on earth, the Lord gonna give us spiritual power to come after you devils, man. So nowhere to go. You're gonna go hide in your bunkers, and we still gonna come crack them rocks down and grab your ass up and shackle your asses, man. You're not going nowhere. Okay? The Lord says in the book of Job that what? He has created the bounds that you cannot pass. You're not going nowhere. It's over with for you devils. We keep telling you that. Okay? So you're gonna make your move now because you don't have much time left. Revelation 12 and 12 tells you that. And the more days we go by and the more you keep getting exposed, the more prophecy is made plain, and we see more and more that you going down, man. Okay? And the elect is coming up. Point blank, period. Okay? So let's finish off in the decoding of the Economist magazine cover of 2026 called The World Ahead. Okay? It says the handcuffed fist symbolizes suppressed dissent. Political polarization. And the tension between freedom and control. That's where your technocrats are coming in. Okay, that's where your false flag attacks are going to hit American soil for them to be justified in bringing in this so-called surveillance state to keep you safe. Okay, they tried the whole safe and effective bullshit with the Vanessas. That didn't really go nowhere, so they have to try a different tactic. But the Vanessa thing is going to come back. Don't get me wrong. It's going to come back because it's all part of the pestilence's prophecy. So that's going to come back. See, that's the beautiful thing about understanding prophecy is that you're not shook by things that happens. You're not shook by time. See what I'm saying? You listen, man, no matter how long it takes, it took America 250 years for her to reach her end. Okay? And her end was already prophesied way before she even came into existence. Hundreds and thousands of years before America became a thing, she was already prophesied to be destroyed. We're going to get that in the book of Jeremiah. Okay? And it's talking about America. Babylon the Great is talking about America. Okay? You got people who say, oh, you can make a case that it's not. No. Babylon the Great is America. Okay? America is Babylon the Great. Point blank, period. Okay? The revitalized Roman Empire. Okay? It says the handcuffs. Okay, we read that. It says the American flag waves behind the cake, emphasizing national identity amid global instability. Okay? Emphasizing national identity amid global instability. You see what's going on. Now, let's shift over. So the first one was mostly talking about the symbol, the central symbol, right? The symbol in the center, in the middle. Now we're going to go into geopolitical and military imagery. Okay, because around in the picture, you can see the tanks and the sword and so on and so forth, right? It says missiles, tanks, warships, and a Viking ship represents ongoing conflict, hybrid warfare, and shifting trade dynamics. Hybrid warfare is going to bombs as well as, surveillance technology like Palantir and so on and so forth. You also have actual human, casualties, cannon fodder, the troops on the ground. Yeah, that's all part of hybrid warfare. Okay. You have a Cold War, what you got going on with America and China. That's also a low-key Cold War, the whole technological arms race, if you will. Right. And eventually Cold Wars become hot wars, as you see in Iran right now. Okay. And around that area. Okay. Oman, Qatar, all these different countries that are around that area, Saudi, they all getting rocked. Okay. And it's just a start. Okay. It says drones and satellites hover above the globe, signaling constant surveillance, okay, cyber warfare, and the militarization of space. All right. Red and blue color coding. Red for conflict, blue for authority / technology. problem, reaction, solution. They create the problem with it, which is the red, bloodshed, war, and so on and so forth, right? The people react, and then they come in with the solution. Okay, it underscores the U.S.-China rivalry and growing global instability. All right, so we just mentioned that. Then you also have technology and AI. Okay, AI robots, Boston Dynamics, Spot Robot Dog. Okay, so that's coming, and a controller point to the rise of automation, meaning a lot of jobs are going to be lost. A lot of these white collar jobs, blue collar jobs, they're all going to be lost. All right. It says algorithmic governance. Okay, so no longer are you going to be having votes and, a House of Reps and so on and so forth. Everything is going to be based on the algorithms. What does the algorithm say? What does the data say? Okay, and AI's growing role in decision making. All right, they already have OpenAI is working with the military right now because apparently Anthropic, gave them a little hard time, and they said, okay, we're going to work with OpenAI. So Sam Altman is right there, of course, to give a hand. Yeah, right. Continuing, the blue fist pushing upward amid machines symbolizes humans will resist or adapting to AI-driven systems. Okay, so that's going to be Job the 20th chapter. All right, every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. So people are going to resist. All right, 2nd Ezra the 9th chapter, uproars of the people. 2nd Ezra 15, the sedition among men. Okay, so you're going to have people uprising. All right, people pushing back, resisting. The Iranian, one of their slogans is the resistance. So you already have that in the works. Okay, it says they're not replaced but embedded within them. Ooh. Here we go. Let's read that again. Symbolizes human will resist or adapting to AI-driven systems, not replaced but embedded within them. What's going to be embedded underneath people's skins? Economic and health shifts. Syringes, pills, and injection pens highlight the rise of next-generation GLP-1 weight loss drugs like Ozempic, now accessible and normalized. You got Trump RX. Okay, the whole this is crazy, man. Anyway, it says these drugs or poisons, witchcraft, are not just medical; they're reshaping labor, insurance, and ethics, signaling a healthcare revolution. Thanks to RFK and Dr. Oz and the rest of these demons that are parading on your TV screens, telling you that they care about you. Okay, it says Viking ship, container ship, and drones together depict the evolution of global trade, from ancient routes to modern logistics to AI-mediated digital supply chains. That's going to be a problem. All right, so in other words, there's going to be a huge shift, right? Cultural and global events. The soccer ball globe references the 2026 FIFA World Cup, co-hosted by the US, Canada, and Mexico. So that's going to be very interesting. That means a lot of people are going to be coming from different countries to come to America to add to the population that's already in America. Now, who's to say the Lord decides I'm going to use this World Cup event to bring majority, millions, if not billions of people around the world to come here to America, and then the nukes take off, right? The Lord could hold it up that way. Set it up nice. You got all these wicked ass people around the world coming here to do some wickedness, and then bang, lock your ass up, and now you're in trouble. You can't go nowhere. You stuck. So you can see the glory of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? It says, so the soccer ball globe references the 2026 FIFA World Cup, co-hosted by the US, Canada, and Mexico. So I believe this is the first time you got 3 different countries hosting the World Cup all at the same time. And it's all happening on the Western Hemisphere. Okay? Framing global events as high-stakes, visible spectacles, because everybody's going to be watching. That's a perfect time for them to set some shit off. Okay? A single footballer outside the globe symbolizes isolation or the individual's role in a hyper-connected, contested world. Okay? So here, key themes for 2026: intersecting crisis, no single war, but continuous hybrid conflict, cyber, economic, political. So those 3 types of wars are going to be happening. Jamie Dimon, all right, he came out and just said, hey, because of this whole Iran thing, expect cyber attacks. All right, we did a lesson, I believe it was yesterday, all right, going into, expect anytime now the lights could go out. So expect that, okay? Klaus Schwab has already told the world about, Cyber Polygon and, the pay insufficient attention to a comprehensive cyber attack. We've heard that. We've heard that already. Okay. And he's not warning you. He's just telling you what's to come. He's not saying, well, if we do things a certain way, we can avoid this because it's something that we can't control. No. They control. They're telling you, beware, it's coming. We're going to do this because we have to do this in order to push our agenda. Debt and fiscal limits. Rich countries living beyond their means. Sovereign debt and market discipline will dominate. Adaptation over collapse. The world won't end. It will recombine under pressure with interdependence through friction. So you could think of the so-called New World Order come into play. Okay? Surveillance and control. Privacy is eroding. Digital monitoring is now the norm. Okay? That's 2026 for you. Okay? So it's definitely a map of what's to come. All right? You're going to have a lot of things. You got to have just troubles, chaos everywhere. Perplexity of nations, as is written in Luke 21. All right, you're gonna have technological dominance, right? Full spectrum dominance. You have geopolitical strain. Okay, so that's the food. The supply chain is gonna be disrupted. You got the Straits of Hormuz that's been closed down. Well, how is that gonna affect people? You already know. Oil prices. I mean, they said in Europe just yesterday when they announced it, damn near oil prices went up 50%. 50% in one day. So we see how this thing plays out. The rest of the month is going to be very interesting and a real tone setter of how things are going to play out for the rest of the year. However long is left of the year, that is. Okay, you see how fast things are moving. Okay, the countdown is definitely the countdown clock has been the speed has picked up. The seconds are moving mad fast now. All right. It says a national identity crisis, right? So you're going to have that happening as well. So with that being said, I want to pull a few precepts and then we're going to close it out. All right. Because this is, like I said, this is the beginning of America's end. All right. You might not see it that way for those who don't know what's going on, but for those who are in tune with prophecy, we see everything as is prophesied and it's all happening just as the prophecy said it will be happening. The countries that need to be involved are involved. The things that need to be happening before certain things take place have taken place. Okay, so all that's left is that MOTB prophecy to take place, and it's going to be guns blazing. All right, guns blazing. Okay, there's a book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 8 says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. All right. So he's coming in the power of Satan, the spirit of Satan. Okay. And that means what? Deception. Okay. To be an adversary. All right. To Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai's prophecy. But the more he goes against it, the more he fulfills it. So it's a beautiful thing. Like I said, you've been running. You ran out of breath. You've been cornered. You're surrounded. You ain't got nowhere else to go. All right, that's America. It says, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, but it says like it, they receive not the love of the truth that they might be saved. For this cause the Most High shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. Everything about America is a lie, but these people were under a strong delusion to believe it. They really think America is powerful. They actually believe that. People really believe America is untouchable. America will never be touched. This is my country. I was born here. My ancestors are from here. Like, I ain't going nowhere. I'm not going to Africa. I'm not going nowhere. I'm going to stay right here. This is my country. And he black as dirt. You black as tar, bro. What the fuck are you talking about? Okay? This is not your original land, bruh. Okay? We were brought here to serve a punishment by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, the God of the Bible, the God of the Hebrews. Okay? And that sentence is up. So now he's about to destroy this prison and get his elect up out of here. And whoever is left here, they're going to be destroyed along with the prison. Point blank, period, nigga. All right? We just gave you the blueprint. You could believe it or not. But at the end, you got a few months to live. I'm telling you, she's on her last legs. Okay? Verse 12, 2 Thessalonians 2 and 12 says that they all might be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. Okay, you ain't believe the truth. You got the prophets out here. You got the prophets, the true prophets of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai out here. And what are people constantly doing? They watch the videos and then they scoff. They watch the videos or however, whatever is trending, whatever IUIC is doing to trend, they see it and then they go crazy. Oh, there's this cult. Oh, the Hebrew Israelites. Y'all talk so much shit, but y'all don't even listen to what we're actually saying. But ultimately, the Lord set it up that way to weed out all the undesirables. That's why they do the videos to show why the Lord's going to destroy them. All right. But again, America has reached her end. All right. Let's get that in the book of Jeremiah. Okay. Because what happens in Revelation 18, okay, is prophesied in Jeremiah 50, Jeremiah 51. Okay. As a matter of fact, let's get a couple. Let's get a couple, right? I'm going to start off at verse 1, Jeremiah 50 and 1, and then we're going to jump down, all right, to the main points that I want to bring out, okay? It says this, Jeremiah 50 and 1, it says, the word that the Lord Yahweh spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet. Okay, so this is all spiritual going into America, Babylon the Great. So we're going to jump down to, I want to start off at, let me see here. The whole chapter is good. The whole chapter is good. But I want to focus, this is, I could read the whole chapter, man. The whole chapter is good. The whole chapter is good. Man. Let me, my goodness. Hey, let's just start from here. The main point, right? We're in 2026. So the main point, okay? It says, Jeremiah chapter 50, start off at verse 35. It says, a sword is upon the Chaldeans, saith the Lord Yahweh, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon, and upon their princes, and upon her wise men. Okay, the inhabitants of Babylon is talking about the citizens of America. Okay, those who are not of the elect. All right. So continue, it says, a sword is upon the liars, and they shall dote. A sword is upon her mighty men, and they shall be dismayed. Okay, you're panicking, you're stressed out because you're gonna know that you don't have power. Look at who they call mighty men. They're all weak niggas. Trump is a freaking commander in chief. This nigga, he got rashes on his neck. He's not in good health. Okay, and then they keep gaslighting you to make you think that this nigga is really powerful. He's not. Look at how Putin moves. See, that's power. See what I'm saying? He's always, listen, man, we can do peace talks. We can hash things out. He's always looking out for his people. They've been doing trainings for World War III. They got bunkers for their citizens. I mean, he's looking out, right? When America want to put sanctions on them, they say, okay, well, we're going to deal a certain way. We have our own, currency and build up the bricks and so on and so forth to avoid this bullshit that America be on. He was talking about the Epstein file. He's like, look at your leaders. This is what they do, right? He revealed the catacombs. Right, he showed the images, the icons, and so on and so forth. All Jake's in there, right? And then you look at America, completely void of morals, complete reprobates, man. Your president is in a list, a bunch of lists, Epstein files about being a PDF file, grabbing up little kids and shit, talking about back years ago. He was on radio. Just straight up, you're a 14-year-old girl. He says all kinds of nasty shit about his own daughter. These niggas is disgusting, bro. Okay? And they belong nowhere but underneath everyone's boot. Keep everyone just, all 8 billion feet. 8 billion people, however many on the earth. Everybody line up and we stomp these niggas out. One by one. Each person take an hour. Stomp for a whole hour. Next person come in. 8 billion stomps. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to be there for a while, but guess what? The job will be done. We're gonna have the kingdom for that. We don't need 8 billion people. We're gonna take care of it. Okay, stomp these devils out. Stomp this shit out. All right, that's what they deserve. Okay, you want to talk about you got ISUPK got women kissing their boots? No. Fuck that. Listen, man, get up. Go sit down someplace. Bring them elites. We're gonna stomp their ass out. That's what we're looking for. We can kiss our boots. Continue verse 37. Jeremiah 50 and 37 says, a sword is upon their horses, and upon their chariots, and upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her. Who are the mingled people? Right? You got a mixed population. All kinds of people on the earth are here in America. known as American citizens. They might be Iranian, they might be Iraq, they might be Indian, they might be African, they might be Chinese, they might be Japanese, they might be Korean, whatever. You have all kinds of different nationalities and different people from different nations on the earth here in America who call themselves American citizens. They have a citizenship and they live like Americans and whatever. Okay, they have family, they got children, they got generations over here. Okay, so that's talking about that. The mingled people is talking about the diversity of people here. The population of America is also known as a what do they call it? What's that shit called? The damn, what's that shit called? Something pot, melting pot. That's the word, melting pot. Okay, America is that melting pot. It's filled with a diverse population. All kinds of people you're gonna find here. You go to different communities, they got Chinatown, they got Little Italy, they got this, they got that. Everyone is over here. Okay. So continue in verse 37, it says, and they shall become as women, a sword is upon her, meaning they're gonna be weak, right? Because the women is onto the weaker vessel. These niggas gonna be weak, man. They're gonna really be like women. Because back then you had men that were actually on some real shit. These niggas all in their emotions, feminine, talk mad shit, but they ain't got no power. Okay, that's America, and the Lord's gonna reveal all that. Okay, when the real shit happens, they go talk. When the shit comes, they come back up and look, we're being attacked. Oh, screaming. It says, a sword is upon her treasures, and they shall be robbed. A drought is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up. For it is the land of graven images, and it says, and they are mad upon their idols. Okay, going back to Isaiah 47. Okay, they're mad over their idols, meaning they're infatuated with this shit. AI and all this, like this is they tout this thing like it's like, you know, a game changer. Like, oh my goodness, like we've created a god that needs to be worshipped. You know, they tout all this shit. These niggas believe in the Iron Dome. Meanwhile, Iran fucking their ass up. Talking about Iron Dome. You know what I'm saying? They believe so much in their fucking artificial creation. You know, it's insane. That's their idols. The Lord's going to destroy all that. Verse 39, therefore the wild beasts of the desert with the wild beasts of the islands shall dwell there, and the owls shall dwell there, and it shall be no more inhabited forever. Neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Why is that? Okay, why is that? Verse 40, it says, as the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof. How did he do that? Through fire and brimstone. Okay, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein. America is going to be completely annihilated. There will be no semblance of life for anyone to come in here and be like, oh, I'm just going to build right here. I'm going to move over here and go here. No. Nobody lives in Sodom and Gomorrah till today. That land is a desert. And when you go there, you got some scientists and archaeologists that go there, and they said that you could still smell the sulfur. You could see the sulfur. You could grab it. It's like salt. Like you pick it up and it's like you could feel it. You'd be like, oh shit, like damn. Till today, however many thousands of years ago that was, man. And that was prior to all these ancient kingdoms come into play. The Babylonians, the Medo-Persians, the Greeks, the Romans, and then now all these empires. Okay. So that should tell you something about prophecy, about the word of the Lord. It never comes back void, man. It doesn't go out void, I should say. All right. It accomplishes each and everything that the Lord has set it for it to do. All right. And America's destruction is the next thing. The next target of the Lord is America's destruction. Okay. There's a book of Jeremiah chapter 51. There's more. Verse 1, it says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind. What is that destroying wind? Thermonuclear destruction. Okay. The besom of destruction, so to speak. All right. The Lord said he's going to utterly destroy and waste the land of the Chaldeans. Okay. So jump down to verse 6. It says, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity. Just like how you got all these people being evacuated from Iran and certain places, the neighboring countries over there. That's the same urgency that the Lord is speaking. He said, flee out of the midst of Babylon. Get out of this land because I'm finna cook this land. Okay? Like a cooking that's never been cooked before. All right? It says, be not cut off in her iniquity, because if you're in here and you're trapped in here, you're going to taste of that punishment. Those who are going to escape this trap are the elect. And it's not going to be by plane or by boat, right? It's going to be by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh's chariot. Okay? The what they call what is actually spoken of in the book of Wisdom of Solomon. It talks about what? The strangeness of his salvation, man. Okay? It says, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. So that's why we wait upon the Lord. That's why we don't take matters into our own hands. That's why these elites that have committed all the genocide, all the wickedness, all the treachery, all the debauchery, all the deadly diseases that they've left upon the face of the earth, conjured up. Okay, the wars that they've done, the mass killings, destroying, murder. Okay, and of course the oppression of the Most High's people. Okay, all these different things. We can't take revenge. We can't, it's 250 years of straight up bullshit. The Lord he's putting all that together. He's gonna cook the land, and after that, 1,000 years, he say, hey, you got free range. Now you can do what you gotta do to these niggas. Not on this side. This is still their world. Until we get the justice, until their world is destroyed, we can't get that vengeance, man. Okay, we can execute that vengeance when we are in power. Right now, we're not in power. Okay, you can't bring those who are in power, into you're gonna bring them to court. Like, they run the courts. They own this shit. They made the laws by which you gonna have to bring them up to. Like, it's not gonna work. They don't roll by the laws of the scriptures. If that was the case, then we have a case. But right now we don't. Okay, our case is to the Lord, not to the people of this earth. So it doesn't matter what they have to say, what kind of opinions they have. We're not expecting these niggas to be arrested, rounded up, and burnt up like they deserve. No. All these devils that are running around causing all this bullshit that everyone got to suffer, we're not the ones doing that. It's these so-called government elites and so on. They're the ones doing that shit. And these are the ones that the Lord got the beef with. Okay, and he's going to destroy them completely. Okay, mark my words, you will see it. No, I'm just kidding. Verse 7, Jeremiah 51 verse 7 says, Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hands that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Okay, the nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Okay, you've exerted immense global influence through your media, through your politics, through your commerce. Okay, that's what you've done. You've spiritually corrupted, all right, the whole entire world, man. Economically, militarily, culturally, shit, even religiously. All right, you've caused a moral decline upon the face of the earth, man. That's was that Isaiah 62 going to the gross darkness, the people. Okay, yeah, man. So this devil, you got a lot to pay for, man. You're not gonna escape it either. Okay. So continue. It says what? That made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. Okay. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain. If so be she may be healed. Right. Jeremiah 51. I believe when I quoted, I said Jeremiah 50, but it's Jeremiah 51 and 9. We're about to read it. It says, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. Okay, that is the judgment of America, man. Verse 10, the Lord hath brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord Yahweh our power. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord Yahweh hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. Okay, going into the Russians, for his device is against Babylon. Okay, their sights are going to be set on Babylon. Their missiles are going to be pointed at America, Babylon the Great. Okay, it says for his device is against Babylon to destroy it. Okay, because it is the vengeance of the Lord Yahweh, the vengeance of his temple. Woo. Okay, his temple. Who is the Lord's temple, man? His people. Okay, you destroyed his people. You destroyed his land. You completely, it tells you in the book of Revelation that what? Destroyed them that destroyed the earth. Okay. Verse 12, it says, set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon. Make the watch strong. Set up the watchmen. Prepare the ambushes. For the Lord Yahweh hath both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. Okay, so the Lord's plans are about to be fulfilled, man. And it's not good. It's not good if you're an American. It's not. Okay? You want to call yourself an American? I don't care what nation you're from. You call yourself an American citizen. You live by the ways of America. Therefore, you're going to take that seed. You're going to be destroyed. Verse 13. O thou that dwellest upon many waters. Ooh. Thou that dwellest upon many waters. What are the many waters? You got the Atlantic Ocean, which is to the right, the east. You got the Pacific, which is to the west. And you got the Gulf, which is to the south. All right? They call it the Gulf of America now. That's what they call it. I thought it was the Gulf of Mexico. Okay? But America is that dwellest upon many waters, man. You're surrounded by water. Okay? Many waters. Okay? Many waters, man. So continuing, it says, abundant in treasures. Woo! Right? The whole entire, pretty much majority of the economy is ran through the petrol. Through the dollar. You got the petrodollar, but it's ran through the dollar. Okay? And that's what creates America's arrogance and rebellion against the Heavenly Father, because she runs everything economically. She runs everything militarily. Okay? So it says, an abundant in treasures, thine end is come, and the measure of thy covetousness. Okay? That's symbolic, synonymous with Habakkuk the second, I believe the first or second chapter. I believe the second chapter. Okay? That your desire is like hell. It's like the grave. You're never satisfied. You keep on taking and taking and taking. But the book of James tells you, right, that woe unto you, rich men. Right, you've gathered all the treasures, the riches for the last days. Right, the Lord said He's going to use that against you, man. Thy end is come. The measure of thy covetousness. The measure of thy covetousness, man. All right, the end of your lifeline, so to speak, is about to be cut off. All right, the end of your lifeline has reached its end. All right, you are at the end. You cannot pass the bounds that you cannot pass. We've gotten to that point. Okay, and the post credits is going to be rolling in soon, known as Revelation 18. Okay, I'm going to start off at Revelation chapter 18 and verse 2. It says, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Okay, so you got America celebrating 250 years, but here the prophecy says that she's going to be fallen. She's going to be destroyed. Okay, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Okay, so you got in Revelation, in Jeremiah, right? It talks about the golden cup in the Lord's hand, and that's synonymous with America being that golden cup in the Lord's hand. Okay, America is that golden cup, man. Okay, that global superpower. Okay, so it says here, verse 3, it says, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people. And that's the calling for the elect to get beamed up. Okay, that ye be not partakers of her sins. That's going to be that destruction. And that ye receive not of her plagues, the missiles that's going to be destroying America. Okay, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquity. So everything that's going on, the whole Iran thing, that's all part of what the Lord is adding on to this devil and her iniquities. Okay, it's just being added up to her tab. She just can't pay it, and she's going to have to pay with her life. Okay, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities. All the iniquities you did to the children of Israel, the Lord has remembered them. Right? Because you said in the book of Psalm, I believe Psalm 10, that the Most High is not going to see all these things. Right? He's not going to remember these things. No. Right? Reward her even as she rewarded you, right? And double unto her according to her works in the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. Okay? So you go starting shit, the Lord said you're going to get that shit twice, double. All right? How much she hath glorified herself, right? America is the greatest country on the earth, right? We're the superpower on the earth, right? Our president is the strongest man in the world, like stupid shit like that. Whole ass capping that shit like that, man. Right? A nigga that, man, let's keep going, bro. It says, how much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and I am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Ha. Okay? Zelensky came here, was it last year? Or the year before? He came here, he was talking to Trump. I think it was last year when Trump came back in. And he said, basically, today you're seeing, you got beaches and all these different things, but tomorrow the missile's going to be coming over here. The war is going to be coming over here. All that beautiful shit you guys got over here is going to be gone. And Trump said, you're not going to tell us what's going to happen to us. You can't come in here and tell us what to do. Right? But that's what the Lord said is going to do to this place, man. You're not going to sit a queen. You're not going to be no widow, right? You're not going to see, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to see no sorrow. No. You're going to see all that. All the shit is going to happen in 1 hour. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. Utterly burned with fire. Okay? For strong is the Lord, the Most High, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, who judgeth her. And the kings of the earth, who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her, shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Okay, the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, because it's going to be so vicious. It's going to be very violent. It's going to be a violent takeover. Okay? It says, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. Okay? When you read that in the NLT, it says, they will stand at a distance, terrified by her great torment. Okay? Because they've never seen anything like this before. The whole world has never seen anything like this before. Like America? No way. No way. America? Got destroyed like that? Yo, the whole world's going to be shook. Okay? And it's going to be like that for centuries. Okay? Centuries. The day that the Lord destroyed America. Whew, what a day. Right? They will stand at a distance, terrified by her great torment. They will cry out, how terrible for you, O Babylon, O America, you great city. Make America great again. Or, right? In a single moment, the Most High's judgment came on you. Okay? So then that's the end of it. That you could close the book. At that point, ain't no more moral decay, moral declines. All that shit is done. It's over with. Okay? It's over with. America is going to be completely done away with, man. Done. And that's the truth. And these elites know that. Okay? These elites know that. That's why they build bunkers, and Mark Zuckerberg has $1 billion, however, 5 billion, however much billions to build up a whole bunker. They can afford it. So knowing the prophecies, what do you think they're going to do? They want to preserve their lives, right? They seek immortality. So of course they want to preserve their lives because they know the destruction is coming. But prophecy says that what? They could hide, they could do all the hiding or underneath rocks and all that. We still going to find them. When the Lord comes back, he's going to get them. Okay? But yeah, I just wanted to bring this out real quick, all right, in regards to, or in the spirit of 1776 to 2026, 250 years of America. Are we going to see the end of America this year? Or how long is it going to take before the Lord take this bitch out? Right? So we're seeing the prophecies. Again, the last major prophecy being the MOTB. Right? Once that happens, everything changes. The what they call the what's the word? The ante. There you go. The ante is going to be picked up. Okay? The Lord is going to unravel a whole lot more prophecies, all right, in a quick succession. Right? The last major prophecy left before this thing go down, man. Okay? So anyway, I'm of their Lowell, and you edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash, the water Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, and until next time, Shalom.